vibrators were invented because doctors became so busy performing this.
What do you want to say to men who know that they're not giving a female the satisfaction that they need? Welcome to the sealed section right here on the Hot Hits.
Yes.
Very excited to have, we've called her 55 different things, but sexologist,
Sexpert.
relationships expert.
Sex educator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kiz Harvey
Something
is back with
anything to
us.
do with sex. Yeah. I'm happy to chat about it.
She's your girl. Now, we need to talk orgasms. We talked
Yeah.
a little bit about this last time because we were talking about the old squirting.
Yeah,
And
the squirting, which, look, that is definitely not mainstream.
No.
An orgasm for women definitely should be.
Yes.
Should be for everyone.
Mhm.
But statistically, I'll just hit you with those straight away. You can get the boring stuff out of the way. Sexual interactions, more than 95% of men orgasm and only around 65% of women do.
is that the stat?
That's the start.
I'm not surprised at all.
Lesbian couples,
All the time.
85%.
Hell yeah.
And then bisexuals, women with opposite sex people oftentimes say that there's far less satisfaction, so less than the 65% reported.
Wow.
That's so interesting. I mean, women's orgasms are usually not prioritized in certain sexual scenarios. But we spoke about on this show, a few months ago, that the actual, the clitoris wasn't actually studied and investigated until the late 90s.
Oh, look, we have to talk about, I think, the history, and I don't mean to be a nerd about sex.
No,
if
that's why we have you.
If that's possibly a thing. But the history of female orgasm, for me, is totally fascinating. So back in the 1800s, orgasm was treated as for disease. So if a woman was sexually dissatisfied, had some kind of vague illness, was fatigued, irritable, anxious, they were like, you've got a disease. We're going to have to manually stimulate you. It was called hysteria. Or
Yeah,
hysteria.
Hysteria.
Right?
Yeah,
Hysteria.
yeah. Oh my
And
God.
so that was still in the American Psychological Association handbook until the 1980s, like for hundreds of years. And so the treatment for hysteria, which was a disease of psychological or physiological not well-being, was to do manual stimulation. So doctors and midwives became oftentimes, as you can imagine, word spread around, you can get this fantastic treatment that makes you nice and docile and quite happy.
Also, they quite enjoyed it, obviously.
Well, you're having an orgasm.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
imagining that.
I don't know about you, Kiz, but there is I have to really lock in my brain.
You're a mental,
I'm
mental
there
stimulation
is
person.
no way I could do it when there's just doctors and stuff. I just don't physically think that I could possibly do it.
That's a really, really good point. You actually have to be, there's the two nervous systems. There's the parasympathetic and sympathetic. Sympathetic is the fight or flight, which everyone knows about. Then the parasympathetic, rest and digest. You cannot have an orgasm if you're in the fight or flight.
No.
You can't. You have to be in that nice, connected, lulled.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're bang on.
Oh, man, because I've got other friends that just like that
Yeah.
instantly. And
Yep.
from the
Male or
inside way,
female?
female.
Really? From
Yeah.
penetrative
And
sex?
all the time, which I don't understand that.
Yeah, that's it. Look, and all Godspeed to them. How
Yeah.
fantastic that they can do it. But over many, many years, in the hysteria was treated, it was oftentimes they realized not penetrative. It was through other stimulation. It was all the kinds of touch that you know. And vibrators were invented because doctors became so busy performing this manual disease treatment.
Good for business.
Praise be to those people.
It was in normal household catalogues, get this until vibrators then became eroticized in film.
Yeah.
And then in the 50s, two doctors, Masters and Johnson, studied female orgasm. They actually studied the physiology of it. And exactly to your point, they realized that it wasn't about penetration. Oftentimes for women, it's more about the stimulation that goes on around it.
Yeah.
So are women having more orgasms these days than they were in the past? Are they having less? Has the number stayed the same?
That's a really good question. So the stats are today, men 95%, women 65%. So I'm guessing from the 1980s when it became more mainstream, knowledgeable that men were there was a big orgasm gap. Women are now being educated. And so in countries like Scandinavia, sex education is at school and women's physiology is explained well. And so the orgasm gap there is less.
Wow.
Right. So it starts in school,
It can.
literally.
It does in those places. We need to fix something up here, I think.
It's so fast. I remember my nana telling me that when she got married, she was, I don't know, mid-20s, and her auntie or someone gave her this little book and said, here you go, read this before you get married.
Yeah.
And she read it. And I think her and my granddad read it together on the bed, just like, what? And it was like, how to have sex. And it was the most basic, like just very to the point sort of thing. I think that generation especially they were in that little gap of where people were really free and sort of in the 20s and 30s, I think people were more free. Then it entered sort of 40s, 50s, 60s always seemed a little bit prudish.
Yeah.
People weren't as free sexually in some way.
Yeah, and I think, you're talking about your nan's generation, even my mum's probably the same age as your gran. Hopefully not, but you needed to be a virgin when you were married. So it was okay for men to be experienced, but not for women.
Yeah.
So that's definitely changed. And I think traditionally women, and there might have been some sexual freedom in the 20s, but I don't know that that's necessarily the case.
Yeah.
I think orgasm was treated like disease until the 50s.
My God.
That is wild to me.
Yeah.
Here's my question to you, thinking as a man.
And I'm thinking of questions I can ask back to both of you.
Please do. What do you want to say to men who maybe know that they're not giving a female partner the satisfaction that they need? What do you say to them?
Yeah,
What's your advice to them at this stage?
A great question. I think being present is really important. It's not about performance at all. And part of my question back to you is I'm hoping that and question is, do you know that of many men that say to you, do you have mates who say, I don't know that it's working out?
Yeah. I have, over the journey, there's been a fair few that feel like they're not satisfying their partner enough.
But if they even acknowledge, I think acknowledging it is the first step to sort of wanting to change that as well.
That's it. But then they're afraid to actually bring it up with the partner and continue to ask what they need, because I think they see it as a sign of vulnerability and and sexual non-performance, if that makes sense.
It's the best thing a man can do, in my opinion.
Is
Say,
ask what you want.
What can I do for you? And to reassure you, because like I said, for me especially, it's such a mind game.
Yep.
And if I'm getting carried away thinking, oh, this is taking too long or this or that, for someone to sort of say, it's so fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. I'm enjoying it or whatever.
Yeah, I think talking about sex is so important,
Yeah.
but so few people do it. And I think what you're saying too is that the man really wants to validate his partner, and then oftentimes that's why women aren't having orgasms. They're faking them because they want to validate their partner.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're both actually there for the same purpose, and it's not necessarily always orgasm. You can have great pleasure without getting to orgasm.
Exactly.
It's about being present and touching each other and all the sensations that you have and that intimacy that you have, rather than, we've got to perform and reach some kind of goal.
Yeah.
It's not footy.
Yes, exactly.
Well said. Kiz Harvey is our sexpert, relationships expert. She's going to be here with us on the Sealed section every week. Thank you so much, Kiz, for coming in.
Thanks for having me. What fun.